I believe the single biggest element in success in business today comes down to this one question: how contagious are you? Let me give you an example of what contagiousness looks like. Do you ever have a time when you made a sales call, whether it's in person or on the phone, and everything seemed to click? You just couldn't believe it. You walk out, you hung up the phone, and you had effortless rapport. Everything was perfect. It was like you've known that person for a long time. You just connected. That's contagiousness. That's being contagious. That was a contagious connection. But on the other end of the coin, you've certainly had that sales call or that telephone conversation where it was like oil and water. Nothing you did clicked. There was no connection. It was a labored experience. That is the lack of contagiousness. And that's the mistake we make in building trust. We need to ask questions not to know so that we know what to say next. We need to ask questions so that we fully understand the customer's situation. And if you forget about replying and just focus on understanding, it'll transform your sales calls, I can assure you. They got to believe you, they got to like you, they got to trust you. So let's spend a minute talking about how they can like you. What can you do? I call it BLT, if you want to remember that. First thing they got to do, the first thing that's got to happen, they got to believe you. How does that manifest itself? Well, here's the thing. I don't want you to make a single sales call ever again. From this day forward, never make another sales call. Now, I know the managers in the room are now getting really uneasy and turning to and saying, don't listen to this foolish man. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But let me explain. A sales call is work. Sales call is a job. A sales call is your manager saying, get out there and make some sales calls. I want you out on a sales crusade. And you're saying, well, David, what's the difference? There is no difference. You're seeing customers. You're out in the marketplace. You're out in the field. You're seeing people, right? You're talking to as many people as you can. No difference. The difference is up here. One is, boy, it's a job, I got to do it. The other is, boy, you just believe in what you're doing. The most important quality, you want to know how to click? You want to be contagious? The absolute, bar none, most important quality you could ever have or cultivate is loving what you do. Loving what you do. Now notice I didn't say like what you do. I said love what you do. Notice I didn't say there are some days that you really do love what you do, right? See, I know the answer. I don't need to ask you, do you love what you do? Because I know the answer to the question. The truthful answer is, well, some days, yes, right? Some days you come in carefree. You're having a great day. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and the world is wonderful. And the phone rings. Right? Something's gone wrong. Something has gone awry, and it puts us in a bad mood. They got to look at you and they got to believe you. They've got to like you. They got to click with you. And they got to trust you. They got to trust you. And sometimes that's really hard to do. You got a few minutes, right? You're there with them for 20 minutes. You got to get somebody to trust you. How do you do that in such a short period of time? Probably the best compliment that I get is when people tell me that I'm the most personable speaker they've ever seen. Audiences today really demand information that they can use immediately. Information they can take back to their offices and their lives and be more successful, make more money, be more productive. But that information has to be delivered in an engaging, entertaining, and fun way, or else even the best information is completely lost. Give people thumbs up throughout the day. Whoever stops by the office, thumbs up. Give them a high five. Next person, high five. Third person, thumbs up.
Order matters. Right? When you want to build a relationship with somebody, there is an order to it. There is an evolution to a relationship. You're with me on that? We get it on a daily basis. Customer says to us, well, how much are we talking about? Give me an idea. Give me a ballpark. If you answer that question out of order, you are damaging the long-term prospects of that being a potentially loyal, prosperous customer. I can't say it any stronger than that. You've got to learn to step back and say, we're not there yet. I'm eager to have that conversation with you about rate, but I need to establish first whether or not I'm right for you and you're right for me first. Because if you're not right for them and they're not right for you, how relevant is the conversation about rate?
And you'll be more contagious. I'm not saying you're going to spring out of bed after 21 days, but I will tell you this. The days will go by quicker. You'll feel less stress. You'll have more fun. And you'll slowly start to develop that that people just want to be around. People love being around. The secret? People love being around people who love what they do. We're drawn to it. We're drawn to it.
You can see one of my weaknesses is a place, I'm sure they have them here in Kentucky, but like they do in South Carolina. They have a place in South Carolina called Cold Stone Creamery. And if you go into Cold Stone, those of you that are patrons of Cold Stone Creamery, you'll notice that they've got 3 sizes when you go into Cold Stone. What? You got it, Heather. You got my problem. The 3 sizes are like it, love it, and gotta have it. I gotta tell you, that's a great analogy for, of course, I always gotta have it. If I'm going in there, I gotta have it. I ain't messing around with the like it or the love it stuff. But that's a great analogy for business. They can either like you, love you, or they gotta have you. And the only position that is sustainable year in, year out for growth is if they gotta have it. They can like you, they can love you, that's all great. But the way you do those things that we talked about today, and you'll be in that gotta have it category.